Good morning, it's Linda from Homestead by the Lake. So it's pear season here and it is time to pick some pears, and we are going to make some pear sauce and pear chunks, I think, and then we'll be preserving them. Who's ready to pick some pears with me? Hi girls. So I hope you can see the way that you can make sure that your pears are ready is you grab a pear and you pull it up, and if it comes off the tree, then it's ripe. You can't tell by the feel of a pear if it's ripe or not, because if it's soft, then it's too old. Yep, see how that comes off? Look at the size of that pear. Look at that. I think last year, I don't know, I processed something like over 100 pounds of pears. Is this not amazing? Look at the size of this pear. Oop, there's a bug hole. That's okay, we'll cut it out. Here you go, girls. And we have a miniature peach tree. They're so yummy. Okay, I am going to start with this big bucket. We'll weigh it and see how many pounds we have. All right, let's weigh some of our pears. Oop, watch out for ants. So I have leveled out the basket. There is 5 pounds. So far, I have 20 pounds of pears to process. Make some pear sauce. Has anybody had homemade pear sauce before? It's really good. Okay. Do you believe the size of these pears? Look at the size of that pear. Okay, that is 4 pounds. So what did I say I had? So I had 24 pounds. And I like to keep a tally of the pounds so I know from year to year how many pears I processed and how many pears we got off our pear tree. All right, so I'm starting with 24 pounds. I am going to go ahead and do, and our 2 little peaches, we're gonna eat those with our lunch. So we are gonna start processing our 24 pounds of pears. Are you ready? All right, they're gonna be water bath canned. So I am going to get the water bath canner filled up. All right, we're gonna get this water warming up because that's going to sterilize my jars. I'm going to do I think I'm gonna do half-pint jars. I am going to cube some pears and I'm gonna can them with a light syrup. I don't want heavy syrup. And then I'm going to make an applesauce. I think we'll use this one. I'm going to make a pear applesauce one. Okay. I think we are ready to start processing. Who wants to make pear sauce today? First thing you want to do is you need a big bowl of water and you want some fruit fresh. Because as you're cutting up your fruit, you don't want it to turn brown. So just add a little bit of fruit fresh to your water and stir that. So what I'm going to do is we are processing 24 pounds of pears today. So what you want to do is you want to peel off all your skin and cut these into a good sized chunk, because I'm going to boil these down like I would making applesauce. I'm going to do the same process for that. So I am, can you see? I think this is in the way. Okay. So I am going to cut this, and you don't want to get any of the core. So you're going to want to trim that out, because that core tends to be a little gritty. So then all you're going to do is you're going to take and cut it into chunks, kind of like a mount size. Cut your core out and chop. So this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm not going to torture you through all of this because it's going to take quite a bit of time. So I will be back with the next step. But basically this is all I'm doing. I'm cutting them up into same size pieces, because this is going to cook until they soften, and we can use an immersion blender and make it into like a sauce, like an applesauce, and I'll be back. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I am going to do the chunk pears, like a canned pear that you would get in a grocery store. I have my pint jars in my water bath canner. I've turned that on, and we're going to let those jars sterilize and get warm, because we're going to have a warm product. You need a warm jar. So I want a very extra light syrup in my pears. I don't want a lot of sugar in them, because the pears themselves are really sweet. So in this, I'm going to make a simple syrup, and I'm going to use 5 3/4 cups of water to, hold on, I forget how much sugar. Okay, it is 1.5 cups of sugar to 5 3/4 cups of water. And what I'm going to do is let this warm up. You want to be careful not to burn your sugar. So just, you know, a low heat. You want your syrup to dissolve. I mean your sugar to dissolve. And then we're going to put a lid on it so it doesn't evaporate. 1.5. Looks good. 1.5. We're going to just let that simmer on low till we are ready to fill our jars. Where's my lid? So right now I am cutting up the pears, and they are sitting in fruit fresh so they don't get brown while I cut them all up. Then we're going to rinse them and get the fruit fresh off, and then we are going to add them to the simple syrup. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I have rinsed my pear chunks, and I'm going to add them to my sugar water. I need one with holes though. I have one with holes. did. Okay, we're just going to use our fingers. So what you want to do is you want to add your pear pieces to your simple syrup. And it's usually 6 to 9 pounds of pears to this amount of simple syrup. Oh, look out for things that you do not want in your pears. I missed that. Okay, that's done. So what we're going to do is we are going to let our pears warm through. So we're going to put that top back on, and we're just going to let the pears get heated. It probably will only take about 5 minutes or so. Okay, our pears are ready. So now what we need to do is fill our jars. The jars are all nice and hot and sterilized. My water bath canner, but actually it's just a pot with a metal mesh on the bottom, because your jars have to be off the bottom of the pot. So this is what we do. We are going to fill these. To a 1/4 inch headspace. Perfect. Oh, that might need a little bit more juice. A little bit more juice. Good. Oh, perfect, perfect. Okay, don't forget, always, always wipe your rims, because if there is any kind of syrup or sugar on these rims, then your lid won't seal. So put a fresh new lid on, and your band, finger tight. First pears of the 2023 canning season goes in the pot. So I'm doing pints. So because I'm doing pints, my pints will go 25 minutes. No, I'm sorry, 20 minutes for pints. A new lid and the band. Finger tight. In you go. This size pot that I have will hold 7 pints. So I hope I have enough in there for 7 pints. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay. New lid. and your band. You can reuse bands, but you cannot reuse lids. You have to get new lids. I think we are going to have just enough. This is going to be perfect. I should have counted how many pears, although the pears, of course, are all different sizes and weights. But what I can do is go over there and count my cores and see how many it took to do 8 pints. Because this is turning out perfect. I have just enough liquid. I have a little extra pear. Maybe it was like 1 small pear. That's totally fine. Can't get much closer than that, can you? I'm thrilled. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. We'll do it this way. Oh, just enough, just enough. Look at that. This is all I have left. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Water up to high. It's got to come to a rolling boil before we start the timer. Oh, and I just seen one in the jar that I missed that I'm gonna go down and get with a fork if I can. Yes, I can. Look at that. Watch out for bad spots. You don't want those in your jars. All right, in we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 pints of pears. And I am going to take out some water from the canner. I have a little bit too much in here. You want about 1 inch over the tops of your jars. But you don't want it too high because you don't want your water coming out the top on you either. That looks perfect. All right, so we're going to put the lid on. We are going to let that come to a rolling boil, and we'll be back. So I counted my pear cores, and it took about 11 pears. So, and they were all, you know, good size amount. So it must have been about 6 to 9 pounds of pears. Okay, we are at a rolling boil, so now we're going to set our timer for 20 minutes. All right, my 20 minutes is up. Where is my cup holder? So all I'm going to do is turn off my burner. I'm going to let that sit for just a minute, and then I'm going to take them out. And in the meantime, okay, so what we are doing next is I have peeled my next batch. I'm going to take a pot and I'm going to just put water in the bottom, just to cover the bottom. Okay, and then we are going to add our next, these are all rinsed. We're going to add our next batch of pears in here. So what we're going to do here is we are going to cook these just like we would if we were making applesauce. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on so the water doesn't come out, and they're gonna slowly cook and soften. Just, are you ready to see? Oh, look at how our pears came out. Now, so they have to sit undisturbed for the night. Tomorrow I'll take off the top bands and I'll check the seals and make sure that they've all sealed and that we have successful canning. And then I'll mark them pears, tree pears, 2023. Who wants to preserve their own pears? Wasn't that so easy? Look at how simple of a process that is to have your own pears from your own tree on your shelf. Okay, so while that batch is cooking to be applesauce, well, pear sauce, I have probably one more batch, and I think I'm gonna do a pear sauce again. Maybe not. Maybe I should do chunk pears. We have our pear sauce cooking down, and see all that water that comes from the pears? That's why you only want to fill, just cover the bottom of the pan with a little bit of water. And we finished the last of our 24 pounds of pears. These are going to heat up in our simple syrup. Our next batch is ready to go in our jars. Nope, I don't have enough. So we only got 6 pints in this batch. That's okay. So, see the pears? Look at them. They've cooked down. They're all soft. So now what I'm going to do is use the immersion blender, and I'm going to start to mix it up. Now we're going to use our immersion blender and blend it up. You want chunky or smooth, and that's with your pear sauce or your applesauce. I like smooth. Okay. Whoops. So now let me show you this. Stay there. Let me get a big spoon and show you what it looks like. Here it is. Oh, it's a little chunky still. I'm probably still gonna make it, yeah, see the chunks? But what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to do a taste test, because once you've ground it up, you want to do a taste test and see if you want to add any sugar. Good rule of thumb, 1/4 cup of sugar per, like, if you're doing applesauce, it's like 8 apples to a 1/4 cup. But it depends on what kind of apples you use. Same thing with pears. Man, those pears are really good, but I do need some sugar. So, okay, so I'm gonna do it by 1/4 cup. So I have an idea. And whenever you add your sugar, you want to make your pears come up to a boil. You want to make sure your sugar is dissolved. I'm going to do 2 1/4 cups. I'm going to do 1 more because that was kind of tart. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more. So now I'm going to let that come up to a boil. gonna do some more blending. Immersion blender at a thrift store. Let me tell you, that is the best little kitchen gadget. It's a must-have. Must-have. So we're going to try it again. Do another taste test. Oh, that's perfect. No more. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Okay, now let me get a bigger spoon, and I am going to show you. Ready? Look at that. Oop, it's making a mess. It's a little soupy, so I'm gonna let it, there just must have been a lot of natural juices in there. So I really want it to be a little thicker. So I am going to let it simmer some with the lid off and hopefully evaporate some of that. But that is what I want. As far as texture, I'm going to bring you closer too so you can see the texture. Okay, ready? Look. Doesn't that look amazing? It tastes wonderful. How, you know, we all are used to applesauce. How come we're not used to pear sauce? Is that my imagination, or is there really no pear sauce out there? Because this is really good. So I am going to let this get a little bit thicker. I'm going to let it simmer with the top off for a bit. And hopefully that will thicken it up some. But look at how gorgeous this turned out. And I can't wait to see how many pints we're going to get. So we are going to preserve it. And we are going to use pint jars. And that will water bath can for 20 minutes. It's hot in this kitchen, let me tell you. So what I'm going to do now is get my pints in my water bath canner. Now, did you know that you don't have to buy like a water bath canner? You can use a pot, any size pot that you want. I had bought some metal mesh to go on the very bottom of it because your jars have to be off the surface of the pan of the pot. So you can use any size pot you want, or of course you can get a water bath canner. But I wasn't sure I was gonna like water bath canning, or just canning in general, so I didn't really want to invest in a water bath canner. But once I did it the first time, forget it. That's the end of it. Okay, I am ready to can up my pear sauce. Now, the best way to take your jars out of your water when they're filled with water and they're sterilizing is when you pull it up, see how this side's open and this side kind of isn't? The best way to do it is to pour it right there on the side. See that? Can you see that? And of course pour slow. You don't want it to splatter up on you because it's hot. But hang on to your jars nice and tight and put them up that way. And that's really the easiest, safest way. See that? To get your water out of your jars. All right, are you ready? I'm so excited. I can't wait to see how many we get. Okay. This is going to be a 1-inch headspace. And be very careful because if it splatters up, this is real, real hot. Unfortunately, when you start canning, turn off my stove. You use a lot of Band-Aids or burn cream. But you learn really quick what to do and what not to do. I'll tell you that. Oh, look at this. You know, when pear season comes around, I'm like, oh no, it's almost pear season. But, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, it's the best. Ready? Look at that pear sauce. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, gorgeous. In it goes. This pear sauce is going to be the same. It's going to be 20 minutes for a pint. Can you see? Good. Perfect, perfect. Well, that's okay. So it looks like it needs a smidgen more, but that's all right. Make sure you wipe your lid, your rim. Clean lid. You can reuse your bands. You just cannot reuse your lids. And we will have processed 24 pounds of pears, and there's still more on the tree. Although this year is going to be less, only because we did do a good tree trimming on it. We had some storms and a lot of branches were broken, so we had to really trim it up. So we will definitely not get as much as we did last year. Last year, man, I had pears coming out my ears. So this year will definitely be a more manageable pear season, especially if I got this jump on it already. I'm thrilled. Right, in it goes. So I have 5 in there, and I'm only going to get 6. That's okay. You want to get your jars ready as much as your canner can fill, and then hopefully you'll fill them all. But that way they're ready in case you do have enough, and if you don't have enough, then that's okay too. We are going to get all this. I want this jar. I don't want to lose any. Oh, look at how perfect that is. Look at that. Perfect, perfect. What did I say? 6 jars? So we have 6 jars. Oop, I need another small lid. Okay, I have an inch of water over the top of my jars. So now I can put my lid on. Turn this up to high. And then as soon as that comes to a rapid boil, 20 minutes, and then our pear sauce is done. How much fun was this, right? I hope you're watching all sorts of preserving videos that are out there, and that's how I learned how to can. I always wanted to do it and just never had enough nerve to do it, but it's really fun. I enjoy it, and I love being able to have food on the shelf when we need it. And it's fun. I just enjoy. Do you believe we're almost done with 24 pounds of pears? Let's see, we got 13 pints of chunk pears, and then we got 6 pints of pear sauce. That is amazing out of 24 pounds of pears. It's been quite the day. Are you ready? They're ready. Our 20 minutes is up. I am turning it off, and be very careful because it's very hot. goodness. Gets a little crazy there. All right, it's done. We have our pear sauce. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Do you hear that pop? That means I have a successful seal, and that's what you want to hear. Okay. So let me show you. Go. Here is today's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pints of pear sauce. Oh, do you hear that pop? That's a successful seal. Can you see? Like this one is still up a little bit. As it starts to cool, if I've done everything properly, it will pop and it will go down and it will seal. Just like these. See this one? That one's already down. It's sealed. So after these sit till tomorrow, I will take the bands off and mark them Tree Pears 2023. Thank you so much for watching my video on how to make diced pears and pear sauce. I hope you make your own.